morning. Good morning. Sorry about the wait, but you know what? When there's suspense and you got to wait for something, sometimes it's a little bit better than what maybe it was if you got it right away, right? So we have a great show for you today. A great show in the morning. It's a Sunday, and I got David here with me, and we got our coffee. Hope you guys are enjoying the Sunday. And David, we're almost there. We're almost there. Playoffs. It's almost there, huh?
We are almost at the playoffs. That's right. We got one more. Hey, shout out to the Texans. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw my thumbnail. It's D'Amico Ryan's right after that play where they stopped the fourth down. Is getting all excited on the sideline. I couldn't help myself. I figured, I had to take a picture. I like D'Amico Ryan's.
Heck yeah. So if you guys don't know, we're streaming on both shows. So if you'd like to be so kind, please jump on one or the other and hit the like. Maybe before the end of the show, jump to the other. Make sure you're subscribed because we appreciate you. And we really do. So let's run through the chat real quick because we know we got everybody here and you guys have been waiting. So top of the morning to Mr. David Corona. Good morning, David. All right. We got Randy Elite Daytona coming to you. Coming to you. Right? You know the song. If you know the song, you can sing along. Okay, we got Carcast coming in. Carcast, what's up? We got Niner Tiger. She is a new one to the channel, and I know she's a she, but I can tell you, she's a faithful. All right, we got Bebop Jones. Woo, woo. And what's going on? Tommy Huxley. Tommy's in the house. All right, we got a wolf sighting. We got Tony. What's going on, Tony? My lovely lady, my lovely wife, my beautiful wife. And another wolf sighting. Thank you again for coming through, Wolf. We appreciate you all. And let's see. Yeah. Let's go. Oh, we got a car cast sighting, and he's calling it out. CJ Stroud. David, would you like to start there?
That was a really good game. I was watching it. It was kind of in control from the Texans from the start, but then Indianapolis came back and made it a game. And I honestly think CJ Stroud, he made a couple throws, and like one of them that looked like he's just throwing it away. And nope, he was throwing it at a receiver. This kid, there's not a lot of quarterbacks that are taken early in the draft to work out, folks. There's probably less than a 50% success rate there. And this kid, he's going to be something. He's going to be elite in a few years.
Most definitely.
Yep.
I need to pause for a second and I need to get everybody's attention. David, if you want to sing with me, that'd be great, but I'm going to do it. And I got to say happy birthday to Dawn Dotson. And if everybody would like to give her birthday wishes, that'd be great. I know anybody who tells me it on my day, I feel wonderful. So Dawn, this is for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Dawn. Happy birthday to the faithful. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Dawn. And I hope you have
happy birthday, Don.
Many more. Many more. Hey, we got Caitlin coming in. Caitlin Strong. Caitlin's a great one too. Straight faithful. And thank you, Tommy, as well, giving the birthday wishes. We appreciate it. Right now I do need to stop and tell everybody, if you can say something, if you pray, if you can send out some good wishes, some good vibes. We have a family member who contracted meningitis, and it's not cool. He is in the hospital and he's getting treatment. But really is a bummer is he works in a hospital, and not one, he works in two. So he come in contact with somebody, he's infected, and we're hoping for a speedy and safe recovery. He's a friend. He's been on the channel before, and he's just a real good guy. So please, if anybody can say, a small words for a speedy recovery, We appreciate it. But yes, again, happy birthday to Don Dodson. And let's beat those LA Rams. So let's get back into that. I'm so sorry, David. The Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts. You were talking about the Houston Colts quarterback, CJ Stroud, and not all the quarterbacks, going number one or being picked high necessarily work out. And I can tell you yesterday when watching that game, there was a play, and I don't know if it was the first play of the game for his offense, because I don't think he started out with the ball. I could be wrong, but there was a moment he dropped back. He dropped back, and his back is to the camera, and he just flings the ball about 60 yards or something like that to his wide receiver, and he caught it and he ran in. Oh, it was way to start the game. It's like, hey, we came to play, and with that, the Texans are in the playoffs, and I don't think the Colts are. Am I correct?
The Texans have clinched a playoff berth. The Colts are eliminated. Now it's kind of like if I don't know how this AFC scenario actually plays out here because the Bills haven't clinched yet. Jacksonville hasn't clinched yet. So I think if the Bills and Miami has though. So if the Bills beat Miami, they're a wild card. You got Cleveland a wild card, and then the Texans a wild card, and everyone else is eliminated, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
Miami beats the Bills, I guess all kinds of stuff breaks loose because that may leave the window open for the Steelers.
Oh, did the Steelers? They won last night, but they're not in yet. They didn't clinch.
They won. They won. They need a lot of help though.
That's going to be crazy if they make it. That would be the Browns, the Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that would just be crazy, crazy. Okay, so how do you feel about the Houston Texans? Are they the team to beat? Can they contend with the Ravens?
I honestly think they can play with anybody. They've proven that over the course of the season. They can get beat by anybody too, though. They're not. They're a building team, and they're only supposed to win what 3 to 5 games this year, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people picked them to not do very well because they're rebuilding. But
Yep.
D'Amico Ryan's if he don't win Coach of the Year, I am grabbing my pitchfork and torque, and I'm heading for the NFL office, folks.
I think he won, or he's supposed to be the leading candidate. He's supposed to be leading candidate for Coach of the Year, and I believe C.J. Stroud is Rookie of the Year, if I'm correct, or is in that category. And hey, they deserve it. They definitely played their butt off this year, and they played some really good teams. And hey, shout out to the Texans. They were a gritty team last year. A lot of games came down to the wire. You didn't want to play them. They were a tough team to play. And then they get a coach with a defensive mind like D'Amico, and you bring that over, and you just D'Amico's exactly where he wants to be. He's exactly where he wanted to be. He played for the Texans, didn't he?
He did. He was a linebacker for them.
It's like
Yes.
going back home. All right. So, okay, let's get into the Pittsburgh and Baltimore game. Anything that you would like to highlight on that game? I'm pretty happy. Pittsburgh came out, and I'm really excited too because even at the end of the game, the Ravens were still fighting. They were still slinging the ball. I looked at the clock, and there was like 45 seconds, and they're still playing. I'm like, they're not going to win, but they're still giving it a chance. So, how do you feel about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I know we just talked about they needed some help, but was there a play or anything that you want to highlight? I know Mike
Well,
Tomlin
the,
was
the
really.
Ravens were resting Lamar Jackson and I believe their two best wide receivers. Everyone else was playing though, so it was almost like I'm going to rest a couple guys, but I'm not resting my whole team. And the Steelers stood up and they had to win this game, and they won the game. Would they have won the game if Lamar Jackson and company was in? We don't know. There's still that
Good point.
possibility.
Yeah, good point. Because they do match up well against them. That's the teams they play twice a year. They do know how to play against Lamar. Lamar might be what 18-1 against NFC teams or 20-1 against NFC teams, but he's
Oh,
not.
it's ridiculous.
He's not. That's not his record against the AFC. All right, folks. So we have Cleveland and Cincinnati. We're going to start at the top of the list, and we're going to roll. I have Cleveland coming to town. I think Cleveland has something to play for. Cincinnati has pride. They have pride, and they have the orange stripes. So beware. The tiger will be prowling, but I think the dog gets it done. David, your thoughts? Joe Flacco coming in to Cleveland, to Cincinnati. How do you feel his odds are? Will Joe Flacco even be playing this game?
I think Joe Flacco will be playing this game. I don't know if it actually affects where they sit, though. You know, them being 11-5, if they win another game, then you know they're still the fifth seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they lose a game, then they're 11-6. But then I really don't think it actually affects their seeding whatsoever. But I believe we'll see Flacco at least for the first half. Maybe they'll get uh, what was that guy's name? PJ Walker back in there, or
JP Walker, or I think that, or PJ, maybe it's PJ. If
PJ?
the
I
chat,
think it's PJ Walker.
if the
You know,
chat knows, it's either peanut butter and jelly or jelly and peanut butter. Please tell us.
but yeah, Cleveland's actually a pretty dangerous team over there in the AFC, and we'll see what happens. You know, the playoffs might get all sorts of crazy over there.
All right. So we're both looking at Cleveland. It looks like we got Minnesota and Detroit. Minnesota's playing for pride. It looks like. I don't think. I think they need a whole lot of help to get in. I don't know if their door's closed entirely, but it they definitely have heart. You seen we mentioned this the other day. Kirk Cousins up there blowing on that giant gauntlet. These little boys right there, they got the chains. You know, he's doing the skull clap. You know, like I don't know. It seems like he's really settled in up there in that stadium. I think he might start making Baker Mayfield commercials or something. Don't leave the lights on, kind of thing. How do you feel? Are you looking at Detroit or are you looking at Minnesota? Detroit, I think they want to go in with energy with what happened last week against the Cowboys. I think they want to get that out and get a better feeling for their team. How do you feel?
I feel the Minnesota needs a lot of help. I believe they need like what is it? They need the Packers and the Seahawks to lose, and they need to win. But I honestly don't see that happening this week. I just don't. Never know. The Bears might stand up and beat the Packers. I highly doubt it, though.
Oh, I think it's the season of love. I think Green Bay's going in. Jordan Love is playing very, very well. He's, I think, the top 4 quarterback in the league right now as far as passing touchdowns and just his performance in the last, I want to say, 5 weeks. He did have a game he lost in between there, but I think he's really just he's gelling. And I think the Packers are going into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. So I'm definitely taking the Packers. Chicago could come in and have an upset, but I think the Bears are going to bear down. We have Jacksonville and Tennessee. I think we were talking last. CJ Beathard might start, but now I'm hearing Trevor Lawrence can start. Trevor Lawrence, either way, is a good quarterback. But the Jaguars, they need to become aggressive. They need to find their themselves, right? They need to find their identity. They don't seem to have that right now. They were one of the best teams before we beat them, and since then they've been hot and cold. How do you feel with Jacksonville going to Tennessee, the Volunteer State?
I like Jacksonville's chances against the Titans because the Titans, they're going to be starting either Will Levis, which he's a rookie. You know, he's a rookie, but that doesn't mean he can't play. Or Ryan Tannehill. I'm actually unsure about which quarterback is starting today. They still have King Henry, but The
Yep.
Tennessee Titans aren't. They're not the same team. They do have a really good middle linebacker though, Aziz Al-Shire.
Hey, I think I heard of him before. Um, I think he's a nice guy. I'm not sure. I remember somebody saying something. Okay, so we talked about Houston and Indianapolis. Let's move quickly to Denver and Las Vegas. We can't say let's ride anymore because that guy's riding the bench. He might not even be in town this week. I don't think they want him suiting up.
Hey, we can say let's
Oh,
ride the bench.
okay, we'll say that. Let's ride the pine, right? Whatever you want to say. But whatever's happening with Denver between their coach and their quarterback, it's not working out. Honeymoon's over. Divorce is coming very soon. There might be somebody moving out of a locker room. It's not going to be the coach at this point. Russell Wilson will be on another team next year, maybe in warmer area, warmer climate. But I think the Raiders have a good shot to come in here and win the game. But Denver Broncos are a gritty team. But this should be the battle of the backups. I just feel the Raiders are going to pull it out for their, if you want to call them fans, because it seems like they have a very neutral site right now. But if you are in Las Vegas and you get to check out this game, I'm going to say it, go Raiders. How do you feel, Mr. Mcniner?
At this point, I'm saying go Raiders. Antonio Pierce has them playing as hard as they can play. And it's almost like the team's playing like they want him to be the head coach. And I can't blame them. We'll see what happens in, the Raider land this offseason. But that's pretty much it. They need a GM and a head coach. I think Antonio Pierce is a great place to start, though, with the head coach.
Sometimes they get those intern coaches and the team really does lock into them, and then they switch, and they did this a couple years ago when they had Gruden. They moved off of Jack Del Rio, and I don't think that was the best decision because I think the team was vibing at that time. And then they go ahead and do it again with the scandal that's happened with John Gruden. Then they bring in coach they had an intern coach right there that the team liked, but then they bring in
Josh
the coach.
McDaniel.
Yeah, and I don't think he's the right fit. I think a lot of people said it. Maybe just be an OC. If you're good at being one thing, just be the best that you can be at that, right? Okay, so let's move on to Buffalo and Miami. Whoever wins is in, right, for the division. And I believe if Buffalo loses, Buffalo's out.
I think that's correct. If Buffalo loses this game, I don't think they make the playoffs. And they have to win, right? I think that's who the Steelers might have the tiebreaker on them. And if Buffalo wins, they make their division and the playoffs are all set over there.
Yeah.
And Miami, they're now missing both their top pass rushers. Jalen Ramsey's a shell of himself. He's not the player he used to be. Miami's tailing off, kind of like what they did last year. I think Buffalo is going to win this game.
Damian Lee says, David, you didn't say the Raiders need a quarterback. James Garoppolo must be doing great. We will look to see what happens in the future. I believe a lot of 49ers will be definitely seeing where he may go next season because, hey, maybe he'll be in Denver. Oh, my God. Right? I'd actually like to see Gardner Minshew go to Denver, but that's just the thing. And we got Kenny. Kenny came into the house. Thank you, Kenny, for coming. All right.
Yep.
So,
Nick Chubb, gone.
Yeah, that's really horrible. Okay,
Bigger
so we got
news.
the New York.
Bigger news that we didn't cover though. T.J. Watt has a grade 3 sprain, his MCL. So even if the Pittsburgh Steelers make the playoffs, chances are he's not going to be on the field.
Yeah, I seen the coach at the end, Tomlin. He seemed very, very upset about it. He didn't want to talk or allude too long on it, but it seemed like he was very, very, very upset about it. He's one of the staples on that locker room and on that defense. He brings a lot of energy. David, how do you feel about the New York Jets? They don't have a quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers should be there next year. We have New England. Does Bill Belichick get his last win in New England? Is he coming back next year? How do you feel?
I feel like Bill Belichick does step it up and get the W here. It's a division rivalry. Robert Sala, I honestly think he's a good head coach. He needs some sort of QB. You know, it's the whole time he's been there, he's had quarterbacks that are below average. If he had an average, if not slightly better quarterback, then they would be winning games. We'll see what happens. You know, the off season's coming up. There's going to be a lot of different, moving and shaking happening, folks. If they fire Robert Sala, Steve Wilkes is only on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, I was just thinking that he's coming right back. He's coming right back. Unless he goes to another team, maybe he'll go to the Patriots if Bill Belichick leaves because he's that close right now, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see it happening right now.
Hey
I'm
man,
not worried about Sala.
Bill's earned the right to step away from the game whenever he wants to. You know, he's earned that right, and I'm sure that the ownership will let him write it out as long as he wants.
Shout out to the Sentinel. Always appreciate you coming through. You're a good friend as well. Belichick's entire life has been football. He'll be in the league until he breaks Don Shula's record. Don Shula, the former Miami Dolphin coach, the coach with the best record, all-time record, I believe. Yeah, very, very true. Okay, who is the Patriots playing? The Patriots are playing the Jets, the New York Jets, Caitlin. Okay, so let's go down. Oh, we have the Shaw Show showing up. What's up, Anshaw? Anshaw is a great guy. He's got a YouTube channel too. It's currently he's taking some time to finish school, but definitely if you're subscribed, check him out. He's a good guy and he's got a lot of great content. A lot of great content. All right, so David, how do you feel about Atlanta and New Orleans? Atlanta, if they was potentially going to win this game, possibly win it, right? Shock the world, they would beat New Orleans, right? New Orleans, if they lose, potentially, if they lose, and who is it? The other team I'm thinking of, Tampa Bay. Thank you. If Tampa Bay wins, they get the division. But if Tampa Bay loses and New Orleans loses, Atlanta needs a little help, and they can get in. Is that crazy?
Well, that's the help they need. They need both those teams to lose, and they win, and they're in, and they take their division. Which the NFC South is it's a mess. It is. It's a mess.
Yep. Carr went there. We were hoping Carr. Well, I was hoping Carr would have a better season. It doesn't look like he's on the same playbook page as his other players are. I think he's alluded to that a couple times this season. Baker Mayfield, everybody trashes him all the time, but he went down there and went to Tampa Bay, and he looks like he's getting that offense moving. But again, you can't. You need more than just yourself on the team to win the game, and sometimes injuries happen, and but when you got a quarterback who's putting up 38 points and 50 points in fantasy football and stuff, I would say Baker's probably going to still be there in Tampa Bay, but Carr, unless Carr has a better season next year, they could potentially move off of Carr this season, depending on how his attitude is. That's my vibes with the Saints right now. They need a lot of help. They're a veteran team, and you think with having a veteran quarterback come in, he would have been able to, facilitate a better record. But it seems like he's doing a lot of putting his hands out when something goes wrong out there on the field. And if you're pushing the blame off of yourself and you're not taking responsibility, then you're not being a leader. And sure, you can't take all the blame. You can't take all the criticism. It has to be put out there to the whole entire team. But if you're just, again, you're not taking responsibility, what are you doing? Why are you even fighting or playing with each other, right? Philadelphia and the Giants. I want the Giants to win. How do you feel?
I honestly want the Giants to win because then it hands the division to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys will probably get the Rams or the Packers coming to town. and the Philadelphia Eagles, well, they could potentially end up going to the winner of the NFC South, whoever that may be. And you never know who's going to win that game. The Eagles aren't playing good football right now, but they could squeak out a victory in that game and end up coming back to San Francisco. I would love nothing more than double tap both those teams in the playoffs.
You know, I gotta agree with you. I gotta agree with you. Okay, so Seattle, I believe Seattle is breathing still, but I don't think they have much. I think they're on life support. They need the paddles to come out and electric shock them, but there's still a chance, right? And they're playing
Yes.
the Cardinals, and the Cardinals. Funny, the Cardinals, if I'm correct, seem to have the Seahawks number. They're a pesky team, division rival, and they're playing in Arizona. I could see Seattle going in and winning, but I could see Arizona pulling up the upset. They just beat the Eagles last week, if I'm correct. I think they got a lot of confidence, and at a certain point, when you're not the first pick, I don't know, you kind of figure out who you want to draft in the draft, and you kind of feel the vibes and see where you might potentially land. And if it's one or two spots back, I think a lot of teams will take that in opportunity to beat the division opponent, right? Especially the one that's been to the Super Bowl and been rubbing everybody's face in it, right? How you feel?
We're talking about the Commanders here, are we?
Seahawks and Arizona.
Okay. So at this point, the Seahawks just need the Packers to lose. They need to win this game. And we just watched the Red Chickens fly in Philadelphia last week. I don't think this is going to be an easy out for Seattle. Arizona is going to be playing hard.
Yeah.
That they have a chance to play spoiler against a division opponent.
Yep.
And I honestly think the Seahawks have what it takes to walk out of there with victory. I got them winning.
I got them winning too. Again, Don Dotson, thank you so much for coming. Happy birthday. Hope you eat have a great barbecue, great dinner. You have good cake. If you're not a cake person, my daughter, she likes to eat pie. So definitely hope you have a great day and a Niner victory to go along with it. All right. All right. All right. All right. So we're moving on to Kansas City and the Chargers. I got the feeling that it's going to be the Swifties. Doesn't seem like the Chargers right now are the Chargers need a lot of help. They were you could say a super team in a way, and they just didn't super deliver, right? They super did bad. How do you feel?
I got the Kansas City Swifties taking this game because the Chargers, they always seem to have, they have one of the most talented rosters in the league. All the analysis, build them up, and these guys are going to like Super Bowl contenders. This, and this, and then the regular season comes along, and it's like they can have all the talent in the league, but they're not playing well together.
Yeah, they're not playing well together, and then it's horrible. You have a great quarterback like Herbert who has a lot of athleticism and talent, and he gets hurt, and you can't play quarterback if you're hurt. You just can't do it. There's certain injuries when you break a thumb or you hurt your hand, there's certain things that an arm, there's certain things that you can't play with when they're hurt. Okay, so we're gonna move on to probably the game of the week. Drum roll, please, everybody. LA Rams against the San Francisco 49ers. Beat LA. That's all I gotta say.
We have it's battle of the backup, buddy. We're gonna have all our young players that didn't get much snaps out there this season. We're gonna see Womack attack, Luter Jr. Logan Ryan's gonna definitely be getting some snaps in this game because our other starting safety, Tayshawn Gibson's out. So, but he honestly needs a little more experience in our system. So it's good. It's a good thing. We're going to see Sebastian Joseph Day also out there getting more experience in our system. things we need to happen moving forward because we don't know when Eric Armstead's ever, if he's even coming back this season. We don't know how that's going to work out. But Carson Wentz versus Samuel Darnold, Sam Area. Honestly, I like Sam Darnold more than I like Carson Wentz.
Yeah, yeah. I think over time, I agree with you. At first, I liked Sam Wentz, Carson Wentz. I thought he was really good. North. What is that school up there? North Dakota State University. The
Yep.
Bison. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I had never heard of this college before, right? And he comes out and he was playing really good. I really liked him, and it sucks when you get injured and somebody else comes in. Sometimes life isn't fair, and you get replaced. And also a lot of things have to do with your attitude. And I'm not saying he was a bad locker room guy, but it definitely seems like he's been on multiple teams for that reason. At least that's the vibes and the rumor coming around. So I think if we would have been able to get him a lot longer, a lot earlier, he might have had an opportunity with the Niners. But jumping around to too many teams, I don't know. You kind of get that professional backup, in your name, title on the back of your shirt, your backup professional. So we'll see. Backups, Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz. I'm going Sam area again. I gotta say it, but Dallas and Washington. How do you feel about those Commanders?
I they're a team in flux. They got the under new management sign hanging like a lot of restaurants do here and there, and we'll see what happens. They ended up being big time sellers at the trade deadline too. That they did keep some good young core pieces moving forward, but we'll see what happens with them this offseason. They're just not a good football team right now. We played incredibly conservative against them, and we beat them 27-10. So, at this point, I think the Cowboys are going to take this game. They're going to take the NFC East.
Now, if the Cowboys was to lose and the Eagles was to lose, I believe the Cowboys still take the East.
Yes.
But I'm not. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Last game of our schedule, and then we're going to be going into the playoffs. Playoffs. I love saying that. That was so funny. Tampa Bay and Carolina, another division game in the South, and we talked about this a little earlier. If Tampa Bay wins, then they're in. If the Saints win, Tampa Bay, I still believe gets the nod, but if Tampa Bay and the Saints lose, Atlanta gets in. Carolina, hey, congratulations, you are the number one pick in the NFL draft, and your prize is going to the Bears. So, hope that works out for the Bears. Hopefully, they get a shiny new toy, right? But I got a feeling. Washington. Well, we were talking about Washington. I got a feeling Carolina can do the upset. I took them for my pick, and I took them to be ornery a little bit because I think the Panthers get it done. They will be playing in a stadium probably with no people. Their season ticket sales are breaking records this year, folks. And I got a feeling that Tampa Bay comes in and they try to get it done, and the defense or some kind of weird play happens for the Panthers, and the Panthers win their Super Bowl. This is the Panthers Super Bowl right here, right now. How do you feel, David?
I feel like the Buccaneers are going to take this game. That they have a ton of veterans on their team.
Yeah.
They have playoff experience, and the playoffs start now for them. They have to win this game to get into to secure their division to get their spot.
Yep.
So I see them winning this and taking the South.
They got to. If they want to do anything, they need to win this game. I still got a vibe though. I still think the Panthers can play spoiler. So, David, what's the game that you're excited to see besides the 49ers really quickly? Is there
The
anything on the list?
Dolphins at the Bills, or the
Okay.
Bills at the Dolphins, because both teams are playing for something. Miami's
Yeah.
in, but they still don't have the division locked up. and Buffalo's not. They're not even in. They have to win this game to get in. So that there's a lot riding on this game.
That's a good game. I think that's a really good game. I'm excited to see the Chicago and Green Bay game. I got a lot of family that will be watching that game, and I'm just excited to see if Green Bay can prove me right, because I've been saying it all season that Green Bay they're going to shock the world, and I think if they get into the playoffs, that's as good as I want. I'll be happy. um, it would be really neat to see it happen. But you know what would be better, and I would be more happy with Niners getting W against the Rams today, just taking care of business. Sam Area, hand that ball off to Jordan Mason, and let's get it done. Let's get in and out healthy, and let's get ready for our opponent in 2 weeks, right? So, you gonna do anything later today? Are you gonna go live? You got any? You gonna have a pre-game or any kind of video after video today?
I'm probably going to go live for a little bit just to talk about, the playoff scenario and what ended up happening there. It was like way later today, folks. Not exactly sure when yet. I have some technical issues I need to work out first. And then, beyond that, it's Niners Coast to Coast tomorrow, right? On Aaron's
Yep.
channel, 49ers First Takes podcast, where
Yeah, I
we'll
think
be
so.
talking about everything that happened today, too.
So, if you guys don't see me later, definitely tune in to Mr. Mcniner here on his channel. He will be going live. Turn your notifications on. If you don't, hey, you're missing out, right? And then tomorrow you'll see both of us again on the Monday show, Coast to Coast. Got to turn your notifications on for those channels. Subscribe, and we will be talking there again. And thank you guys all
Euros on the
for coming.
Euros on the menu tonight. All right, if I drive fast, I might be able to
Yep.
make it by dinner.
Oh boy. Hey, next time we meet up, we will definitely have Euros or gyros, depending on how you like to say it. But it is delicious, delicious, delicious. Yeah, man, they're great. And if anybody doesn't know, that's lamb, that's baby rams. So yeah, the Niners are definitely gonna hopefully be able to take care of business, and everybody. Oh, Tony's saying we'll save you some. All right, folks. With that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all for coming. It's been a great show, and we appreciate you all. We hope to see you again. And go Niners, stay faithful. And with that, David, send us out.
Hey, go Niners! And as Corey Davis would say, F all 31 other teams.
That's right.